everybody. I've just popped in to get it all set up and make sure that everybody is here and able to see it. And basically I'm going to give it a couple of seconds for everybody to get in. So wherever you are, leave us a comment down below and tell us where you're watching from today, and we'll get started very shortly. So I'm just going to switch my phone off and hopefully it won't go off. Sorry about that. Alrighty, I can see people are starting to join. It's just gone 10 o'clock, so we're going to get started. Give us a thumbs up if you can see us and comment below where you're watching from, whether it be, you know, morning, afternoon, evening, late evening, as it is for here in Australia. So it's just going to be a quick one tonight, hopefully. It won't go too long and whatnot. So if you've got any questions, just comment them in the comments down below. I'm just going to refresh my computer screen so I can see some of them coming up. Okay, it's just refreshing. I should be there somewhere. Alrighty. Okay, so the first things first, Elizabeth, are you in? Can you see everything that's going on? If you can't, Beck is going to send you the link so you can get in this time. Hey Beverly and hey Linda, glad you can join us tonight. That's excellent. And I'm just... Alrighty. Okay, so we're going to get started. Block of the month goes up tomorrow, and it's a lovely block. So it will go live around lunchtime Australian time. So that will, you guys in America will wake up to it, and you can get started on that and post your pictures and whatnot. And those that haven't started yet, don't stress. There's no stress. You don't have to play catch up or anything like that. They're on YouTube. You can go and check them out anytime you want. So, but yeah, start with block one because it's got a few tips and tricks that we've got in other live chats, which are now also on YouTube as well. But yeah, our next one is getting released tomorrow. About lunchtime it'll go up, and I think you're going to like it. You need a background fabric and you need two colours that are contrasting. So I might even give you a bit of a sneak peek a little bit later on. We'll see how we go. So has anybody had any other issues with the first block, if they've been working on that in the last couple of weeks? If you have, just pop a question down there and hopefully it will come up and I will get to it. And hey Beverly, how you going? Yeah, it goes up at lunchtime tomorrow, Beverly, so you'll be able to get onto that. One thing I will mention about it, I used my vintage machine in this one, and I used the tutorial on how to set the scant 1/4 inch, and it worked perfectly. So I didn't lose any points. So if you haven't set your machine to use the scant 1/4 inch, I suggest that you actually go and watch that video and set your machine to a scant 1/4 inch seam allowance and then make your block then. Okay, so I just got a message, Beck, I just got a message from Elizabeth, and she's saying that she can't get in again. If you can tag her in this video, I'll tag her, and if you can send her an inbox with the link for it, that'd be great. Thank you. And just let her know that I tagged her as well, so if she clicks on that, she should be able to get into it. I couldn't get it to work on my end on my computer, so I just clicked on a comment that someone put up there. So Elizabeth, Elizabeth should be able to get that tag and click on it. So if you could tell her, that'd be great. Yeah, so I use the scant 1/4 inch, and I think it's going to be imperative using the EQ7 software that we do use that scant 1/4 inch. So if you haven't set your machine up yet, I suggest that you go and watch that video, and that way you can not have any issues with losing your points or anything like that, because we again are working with triangles. So you want to be very careful of that. Hi Paula, how are you going? Thanks for joining us tonight. So yeah, you just want to be really careful when you're doing your triangles that you don't stretch them. And I do cover this in the video, so just be aware of that. And your scant, I can't stress it enough, the scant 1/4 inch is a necessity for these blocks. Hey Elaine, how you going? Yeah, so if you've got any questions once we go live tomorrow, just post them to the wall, because most Linda and I have both made the blocks, so we are very aware of what the situation's going to be. So Paula's saying that she's all good and she's tucked up in bed with a cold at Patsy's place. Oh, you're not sick, are you? Oh, that's terrible. Hi, Ellen, how you going? Hey, Beck, thanks for joining us. Yeah, so basically, I can't, as I was saying, I can't stress it enough. Using that that scant 1/4 inch has really made a big difference to the block, and I have actually noticed a difference between my vintage machine and my newer machine, and I think for this quilt I'm actually going to use my older machine. I didn't have as many problems of the fabric getting sucked down into the feed dogs, and it went together really well, really quickly. So yeah, you really enjoy making this block, I think. So I was supposed to post on Monday or Tuesday. I was supposed to be starting construction on my recording studio here at home. That has been put on the back burner for a couple of weeks, mainly due to all the tools are over at my husband's new workshop at the moment, and I need his help with some of the stuff. So I'm going to put that on hold for a little bit. And then once I start working in there, then I'll start filming and I'll post that up on YouTube. And while we're talking about YouTube as well, we've got up to 146 subscribers, so yay. I've been putting up some just some behind the scene things that go on here at Darvanalee Designs with the quilts each day. So you get to sort of see what I work on and the different things that I work on. So, excuse me. So if you find that you're looking for something to watch and you just want to see what I'm working on, head over there and you can see. And I'm actually numbering them in order this year, just to keep a track of how many quilts I actually do in a year. So it's a little bit of that as well. I'm already up. I've only started back on the 1st of February and I'm already up to job 4. Went into the machine today and I'll be working on that over the next couple of days. And I know that there's a couple of ladies waiting. Paula, you're waiting for your quilt as well. I spoke to Lynn today over on the quilting page and told her that there is two quilts in front of her, which is the one in the machine now and another one. And yeah, her quilt's going in probably the end of next week, and then I'll work over it over the weekend, and then your quilt will be going in, and your quilt will probably be in the machine for about 3 or 4 days, Paula, because it's quite a large quilt and you want custom quilting on that. So I will do my best to get it to you by the end of the month. If not, it will be the first week of March, give or take a couple of days. So yeah, so that's just an update on the on the quilting side of things. And yeah, so head over, have a look at what I've been working on. I've worked on a couple of different things already this year, and I actually can't wait to get stuck into your quilt, Paula, because it'll be the first free motion and custom quilter for the year, so I'm pretty happy about that. Alrighty, so that's pretty much what's happening there. And yeah, the studio one, I have to wait for my hubby to be able to help me. Yeah, I've got to use some power tools and stuff like that, and I've got to get up high and all that sort of stuff, and install some lights and get the electrician to look over them and all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be a bit of a work in progress, but I'm sure we'll get there in the end, and you'll get to come along for that journey. And I'm planning on documenting it all, so you'll get to come along with that. I still haven't actually looked at your quilt yet, Paula. I do know what I'm going to do on the Dresden, which we've already discussed, but hi Valerie, how you going? Hi Lynn. I do want to do minimal quilting and on the blocks surrounding it, because I really want to make that Dresden pop. So I'm still contemplating on what I'm doing, but once that quilt comes out and it gets on the frame, the creativity will flow and it'll all start to come together, and there'll be lots of pictures that I'll send you and stuff like that as well. So you'll get to be coming along for the process, and it will be on YouTube as well, so you'll be able to go and watch it over there as well. So and then you can show all your friends it getting done. So your quilt is actually probably going to be a fairly long video, so because I want to sort of get every step of the way, just to document it for you, and also for my own documentation as well, because sometimes you forget what you've done and what you've worked on, and what the process was behind it. And yeah, so I'm actually looking forward to documenting all my quilting this year. And as I said, I am putting them in numbers, and so you'll be able to go and see where I've started at the beginning of the year, and we can see a progression of everything that's going on. Now, there was a couple of questions that came up during the week about the clapper that we discussed last week, and whether or not you could use it with a dry iron. I use mine with a dry iron all the time. I have never, for patchworking, I don't, as we've discussed previously, I don't use steam for when I'm patchworking, because I don't like it. I don't like the results that I get. On some things it works really well, on other things it doesn't, and I think it comes down to the fabric that I'm using and what application I'm using it in. So I don't actually use steam or anything like that. So when the question came up about the dry iron, there was a couple of other ladies that posted up some comments and the science behind the clapper. And for those that don't know what a clapper is, that weren't here last time, it's a block of wood. And basically it's a tailor's tool, and it's used for making creases and stuff like that. So oh yay, Elizabeth, you're here, yay, we finally got in. So so you're on, and it's good, and it's working, everything's fine, you can hear me okay? Because I'm not getting anything on my phone, I'm not getting any sort of comments coming up or anything. I'm relying on my computer, which has got about a 10-second delay, 20-second delay, something like that. I can see that Beck's going, yay, it's you're here. Yes, everything's fine. Excellent. That's excellent. I'm so glad you got in this time. It's been a bit of a process. So you remember what you did just then, so that you can do that next time we're on it this time. So that's good. So yeah, so we were just discussing the clapper. So the question came up whether you can use it with a dry iron. Yes, I use mine all the time with a dry iron. And I use it for my binding, and I don't necessarily use it for my piecing as such, but if I do have a troublesome on the back of my block, if I'm getting something that's not quite sitting down, I'll hit it with the iron, and then I just sit this on it, and it makes it nice and flat. So yeah, and sometimes I might use a little bit of Best Press or whatever your favorite ironing aid is. I might use a little bit of that and iron it and then sit this on it. But I mostly do that when I'm working with bags and I'm doing credit card pockets, because I find it just makes a nice crisp crease in it, and then I can just top stitch that. And especially the NCW by Emmeline bags, her pattern for the NCW wallet. I just find that it works a little bit better for me if I use the clapper. And again, I just put a little bit of spritz. I don't actually use steam for that either, because the interfacings that are on it, I don't want to use the steam on those, because it's not recommended by the manufacturer. So everything I really do is actually with a dry iron, and I've used the clapper for everything with a dry iron. And maybe just a spritz of best press. So hopefully that answers your question. Kathleen did go into great detail on the science behind the clapper, and just a brief rundown of that, like a summary of that explanation, was the steam. You shoot the steam in it, and then you place this on top with a bit of pressure, and essentially the wood absorbs that moisture out of it and sets a nice crisp seam. So yeah, if you look for the question that was posted, you should see Kathleen's answer there. I can't remember who posted that question. I think it may have been Sarah, maybe. I'm not too sure. But yeah, that was the question. So I hope that answers that for you. So yes, you can use it with a dry iron. I do it all the time. I guess when it's used with steam and that's mostly in garment making, I would assume, but I don't make garments, so I don't actually never actually used it for what its actual purpose was for. And I use it for binding as well, like this binding that I've got here. And some of you would probably recognize this. This was the binding that was left over from Sarah's quilt that we made in that other group. So I used a tiny little bit of best press on that, and then a dry iron with the clapper. And you can see, so how many months ago was that? That was like 5-6 months ago. And you can see that still has a very crisp seam in that. Not seam, crisp pleat in it. So that's, you know, for when you're making your binding for your quilts. I make all my own, I don't buy it, but you can see there on that angle, you can see how sharp that crease is. And that was done 6 months ago, because all I've done is basically wrap that up and sat it aside with an elastic band around it, which I've since lost tonight. Yeah, and basically it just sits there. I just wrapped it up and it's been sitting there, and you can see that that's what the clapper does. It gives it a really good crease, whereas if I don't use it, I find that it comes undone. It's probably the best tool that I've ever got for binding. I don't use binding making tools or anything like that. I just sew all my strips together and make my own binding, and then just, yeah, you can see it's just still creased and it's not going anywhere anytime soon, and it's been sitting there for 6 months. So if you don't have a clapper, I would suggest getting one and giving it a go. They're fairly inexpensive, and they're a good tool to have. I cannot say I've ever regretted one moment after buying that. And I actually paid a pretty penny for mine. This one was handcrafted by someone in another group that I was in. I can't even remember the name of the group, to be honest, because I haven't been in there for a long time. I think it was a bag making group that I was in, and they charged $40. And that was sent to me. That was including postage, but that was handcrafted. It's really smooth, it's stained, and you can see it's good size. Alrighty, so now I've been doing some planning and whatnot for the tutorials that I'm putting up in March, and I put a post up there the other day. Tamara Lee asked me quite a number of months ago, maybe even 12 months ago, it could be, around this time last year, I think it was, I made a lace zipper pouch, and she asked me to do a tutorial on that. I'm finally doing that tomorrow. I'm finally getting around to it. I am finally going to film it, and that is one that we're going to do in March. And also we're going to do a little mini quilt that I have taught here in store at Darvanalee Designs, and it is a little bit of paper piecing, so it's a little bit different. There will be a downloadable pattern. It was one that I made for a swap over on Instagram, so it was just one that I sort of put together, so that will be going up on and it's not a big project either, so it's something that you could possibly do on a weekend, and that's including all the piecing and right up to the quilting and even getting the binding on it. So yeah, that will probably be around the last week of March that's going on. And we've also got a sewing machine needle holder, a little bit different than most things, and we've got an ironing board storage solution too to help you out. So they're some of the things that are in the process of getting made, and they'll be going up in March. In what order, I don't know, but yeah, so possibly one of them may bleed over into April, because we've also got our block of the month as well. But yes, so that's what I'm working on at the moment. So I hope that you'll like all those. Things are going really good with all the recording. I'm getting better at my camera angles and everything, so it should become a little less, for lack of a better word, dodgy. It should look a little bit better. I'm getting a lot better. The block of the month video, I played around with just adding little bits of text in there, so you could tell me what you think about that tomorrow after you've watched it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, because I forgot to mention a few things that I take for granted, and I'm trying to gear this towards people that haven't done patchworking before, and to explain it so they know what they've got to do and stuff like that. So hopefully I've nailed it. Let me know. I'm open to any sort of comment and constructive criticism. I'm really happy to hear what you've got to say, because I mean, realistically, this channel we're building together, because without you guys I wouldn't have a channel and I wouldn't have a group. So your input is very much valued to me, and I'd really love to hear what you've got to say. Oh, I'm glad you can't wait for the ironing board, Caddy. Beck, have I showed you? I don't think I have. Yeah, so they're just some of the things that I've got coming up. So I'm hoping that you'll really, really like them, and that you'll get in and have a go and post up your finished creations, because I love seeing what you're working on. Also, we've got, you'll have to excuse me, I have got the hiccups something bad tonight, and I'm trying to stop them. So yeah, so basically that's pretty much all that's happening here behind the scenes. We've been busy quilting this week and getting everything done. And I'm just really excited to be doing the second block of the month. It was a lot of fun doing it, and as I said, Linda had tested it for me about 2 weeks ago, and she had a lot of fun doing it as well, and she made 2. So her quilt is going to be big when she's finished this quilt, if she makes 2 of everything. I don't know if you're still on or not, Linda, but yeah, so yeah, so basically that'll go up about lunchtime, and we'll go from there. Tips and Tricks Tuesday also starts this week as well. We'll be looking at half square triangles, because we've been working with half square triangles, so you might be able to get something out of that. You might take that and run with it, and you might be able to use it with future blocks. So that'll be another thing to keep an eye out for. So that starts. So how big are you going to make this quilt, Linda? I'm very curious on that one. It's going to be a big quilt, because these are, you've done 4 so far. It's going to be massive. And you did get a glimpse. I thought you might have, Beck. All right, so has anybody got any questions at all that they want to ask tonight? If you do, just pop them down below. I'll give it a couple of seconds for it to come up. So how many we got on? Got 14. Cool. That's not too bad, because I know it's about 7 o'clock in the morning where you are in the States, isn't it, Linda? And I'd say a few of you would be just getting up and getting ready to start the day and get the kids off to school and whatnot. Alrighty, so I might just call it a night at that. I've just given you a rundown of everything that's gone on. I can't think of any other questions that have come up during the week. So it's almost 7:30 where you are. Awesome. Yeah, so basically, I can't think of any other, as I said, I can't think of any other questions that have come up during the week. So we might just make it a short one for tonight. And basically, yeah, if you've got any questions that you think about after we're finished, just leave a comment and I'll get to it as soon as I can. This video, for anybody that's catching the... I knew you were going to ask, Elizabeth, because you used to ask for sneak peeks all the time before. I can give you a sneak peek. How much of a sneak peek do you want? Maybe just a little bit. No, all right. I'll give you a full sneak. It's not going to be a sneak peek. It's basically, this is the block that we're working on. Okay, so it's called Capital T, and that tutorial will go up. It will go up it pretty much go up in about 12 hours. It'll go up. So yeah. So it's a nice block to make. It's not too hard. You're learning how to make flying geese in it. So yeah, so that's a little. You got the whole thing. There you go. Can you see that? There we go. So that's it there. So, Linda, if you want to post up your blocks tonight, you can post your blocks up. That's not a problem. So yeah, so that's the one that we're doing tomorrow. And I think you will really enjoy it, ladies. I think you, and gentlemen, I think you will really, really enjoy it. It's a nice, quick and easy block to go together. It's repetitive again. And the only thing I can say is that I would be very careful when you're making the flying geese in it, because you're doing it the traditional way, so you will warp them. And just remember to press and not iron. That's key. And yeah, yeah, I would just be very aware of that. Now, I did make a whoopsie in the video, and I didn't realize until after I had made the video. I said that you needed to make 4 of something, and I've got a little text that comes out and goes, whoops, that's supposed to be 2, because in the next frame, I actually say the correct way it was supposed to be done. It was just I was thinking 4 for some reason, because I had to make 4 of the blocks, and that seemed to have come out my mouth, unfortunately. So I've put a little whoops in there. So just watch the whole thing through and just check where the mistake that I made in there, and just be aware that you don't actually have to make 4, it's only 2, and I say it correctly in the next part of the video. So yeah, so everybody's asking you to post your blocks up there, Linda. So yeah, I will put up my block as well, but I'll probably do it in the morning, because I've got to take a decent photo of it, and the light's not that, as you can see, it's not that crash hot in the studio at the moment. So yeah, so basically just be very aware when you're ironing or pressing your block. Now, I do say in the video to press your seams open. If you find that it's not sitting right by pressing your seams open, just whichever the way those seams want to go, just go with that. Because with the way that we do these blocks, sometimes flying geese have a mind of their own, and they like their seams to go a particular way. If they're giving you any grief, just press them the way that the material seems to want to go naturally. I'm using white, so I tend to press to, if I'm going to press, not press my seams open, I tend to press to the dark side, which anybody that's been a patchworker for a long time will have been taught that way. I did press my seams open. It was just my final seams that I didn't. I forgot to do it, because I automatically do that. Opening the seams is not my first option when I'm patchworking, but yeah, try to get into the habit of it, because when you've got a lot of these pieces going into one another, it just reduces the bulk a little bit, and you'll find that your block will sit a lot nicer too. I didn't have any issues of anything not matching up or anything like that. I didn't lose any points. I did have one move on me, but that was through my own sewing. I've since gone and fixed that up, so that's fine. You'll probably notice it on the camera because it happened while I was filming and I didn't fix it. I waited till I'd finished filming. So, yeah, I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. What are your thoughts on it, Linda? Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy making the block? I'll be watching this again later today as it keeps going off and on and I have to keep refreshing. Okay, I'm sorry about that, Judy. Yeah, unfortunately, I've had internet problems most of the day. I wasn't even sure that I was going to get on. Beck and I sort of had a bit of a chat before I came on to make sure that it wasn't going to drop in and out and we didn't have any issues. So it possibly could be at your end or it could be at my end, but as far as I can see, I'm still on. Yeah, I can't do much about any of the internet problems. I can just hope for the best a lot of the time with the Facebook Lives, unfortunately. Now, the rerun will be over on YouTube, so you'll have to go over there and watch it, and it'll probably be up there a little bit later today. It will be here for a little while longer, but I'm transferring them all over to YouTube, just basically to keep them all in one place, and people won't have to scroll through so many. Yeah, I was just Beverly, I was terrible today. Like my phone was dropping in and out. Yeah, it was just been terrible all day, and it's just been very frustrating because it made it very hard to get any work done today, especially online work, which is mostly what I do on Thursdays. I do most of my online work and whatnot. So yeah. Yeah, so if you come to the group and you can't find the live chat videos, they will be over on YouTube. They've got their own playlists, and and basically you'll be able to find them there, and they're dated. So, and they're going in, they should be going in numerical order. There might be, you know, a little bit of a mix up on YouTube, might not get it right, but as they get uploaded, the date will be on them. And the video, when you watch it, will also have the date. It will flash up what the date was, so you'll be able to find what you're looking for. And anything that I've mentioned, or if there's a project in them, or there's a tip or anything like that, I generally put it in the blurb, so you'll be able to find it. Good morning, Sarah. How are you? You're back from walking I see. Yeah. So basically, when you go to YouTube, you just have to find the playlist, and it'll have studio live cams, and then they'll just be dated, and you'll be able to see what date it was, and you'll have to and if you're looking for something in particular, just read the blurb underneath, and it should tell you what I mentioned in it or what products I mentioned in it. So like, for instance, a couple of weeks ago we talked about color catchers and Goo Gone, and I mentioned that there was a tutorial on how to retack your scan and cut sheets that we put our stuff on, and it goes through. Last week's one, which hasn't actually gone up there yet because I've had internet issues today, so basically I need to get ready for the baby to come stay with me this morning. Thank you, Nicole. Love these videos. No worries, Ellen. You have a great day and enjoy those babies, hey? Yeah, so basically last week's video hasn't gone up there yet because I was having internet issues. But once that goes up, you should be right to go. And you'll be able to just find them all in one place, and you won't have to worry about scrolling through heaps of stuff in the group. And they'll stay in the group, and you will be able to find them. But basically, when the next month rolls around, I think I'll just delete those out. And like, so when we get to March and the new March live chats are going up, what I'll do is I'll just delete out the February ones, and then you'll be able to find them, and the January ones, and you'll be able to find them all over on the YouTube channel under their own playlist. Hi Becky, how you going? Good morning. Yeah, so that's pretty much everything that's going on over there. As I said, Tips and Tricks Tuesday starts this coming Tuesday, and then it'll be every 2 weeks you'll get a new tip or trick. The recording studio build has been put on hold for a while, so probably 4 or 5 weeks that'll be on hold just while my hubby gets set up over in his new business, and then he'll be right. He injured himself today, so that's probably going to add another week onto it. He twisted his knee or something, popped his knee out, so he's lying in bed listening to me prattle on with his leg up and a lot of deep heat and strapped. So yeah, so basically yeah, the bomb goes up, the block of the month goes up tomorrow, and Sarah, you missed out on a sneak peek, so you'll have to go and watch the rerun. You'll have to replay it. Sorry. Yeah, so if you've got any questions or anything like that, hey Biz, everybody's waking up now. Yeah, so if you've got any questions or anything like that, just pop them down below, and I can get to them. And nice one back, poor old man. And he's younger than me, and he's fallen apart, poor bloke. Yeah, so basically I'm just trying to get everything organised and to try and keep the group really clean. And while I'm talking about it, keeping the group nice and clean and tidy and whatnot, making it easier for you, I loved everybody's response on the show and tell. That was great. It was so funny. Some of the things, we ended up with a truck at the end of it. And you would have noticed that Sarah's new topic went up today, and it's underneath its little new logo, so you can see that there. And so we're tooting our own horn next week. Now, when I put my post up on the Monday, I will always put an explanation of what we've got to do. Okay, so you'll need to watch the video, and sometimes I put a blurb up the top, but most times I will mention what you've got to do in the video. So click on the video, watch it. They generally only go for, depending on the topic, it usually goes no longer than 4 minutes, 5 minutes. I've managed to get them down. I know I'm a talker and I talk a lot, and that I am starting to get them down. So yeah, so basically go in there, watch it. It will tell you what you've got to do. And this topic that we've got coming up this week is toot your own horn. So we want to know about you. We want to know what you're good at, other than, you know, maybe you only good at quilting. Then put down what you're good at quilting. You know, you might have some other interest that you're really good at. So put it all in there, and yeah, we're a closed group now, so no one can see our comments at all. They can see the group, they can see who's in the group, but they cannot see the comments or anything that you're posting. So we're safe and secure now, so that's all good. We have had a couple of people try to join the group in the last week, a couple that Linda wasn't sure about. One snuck past us and somehow ended in. I got him out. Thank you very much to Cheryl for pointing that out to me. She sent me an inbox and said, look, you know, this person looks a bit sus. I went and sussed them out. They were 18, around that mark. And basically there was no quilting. From what I could see, he was a tech guy. And yeah, so we got him out. He tried to join twice and somehow he got through. And yeah, so basically I ended up tracking him down and got him out. When I put up the post of welcoming the new members and whatnot, his name was up there and then he commented. So that's how I found him. So yeah, we're both Linda and I are being super vigilant on who's being added to the group. So we're trying to keep it, keep them out. So yeah. It was, Beck's putting there, it was fun seeing everybody watch their, add their essentials to the retreat bag. LOL. Yeah, it was funny. There was a lot of alcohol and a lot of food. And I'm glad someone thought of coffee, because you're going to need coffee after all that alcohol. So yeah, Yeah, Linda and I are trying to keep everybody out, and occasionally someone will slip through. So if you see someone that you're not quite sure, send either Linda or myself an inbox, and we can suss it out a bit further. If Linda's not sure, she just usually leaves it up to me, and then I just make the decision whether or not they come in. And in saying that, Beck just recently added someone, Scott, someone. Beck, can you put the name up for me, please? That is actually his wife that uses his account. So, it's, I can't think of the names. Beck knows because it's Beck's friend that she's added to the group, but, she uses her, husband's Facebook account. So if you see someone named Scott, it's actually Kylie. Am I right? Yeah, Scott Kefford has been added to the group, but it's actually Kylie, his wife, that is using his account. So, yeah, so if you see Scott there, it's just Kylie. Say hi. Yeah, and she's just been added to the group. I haven't seen her comment or anything yet. But yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know that Kylie, and she's a lovely lady, according to Beck. So yeah, I haven't seen her comment or anything yet, but if you do see Scott's name go up there, just be aware that it isn't actually a guy, it is actually Kylie, and we'll make her feel welcome. I think that's about all I've got for today, really. She followed, oh, okay, so Kylie followed, does Kylie have her own account on Instagram, or is she using her husband's as well? Because I've got quite a few males that are quilters from the United States that follow me on, like there's Quilting David and a few others that follow me on Instagram. So I remember you saying that she followed me, and I forgot to ask you whether she had her own account or not, because I'd have to, you know, give her a shout out and say, hey, how you going? Yeah, so basically the block of the month is getting released tomorrow. We're going to be putting pictures up, Linda's putting pictures up tonight of the new block and what it looks like. So I'm sure there'll be a hive of activity after I go to sleep tonight. And just to recap, all the videos, all the Facebook Lives will be over on YouTube. And Sarah, I've covered the clapper question that you asked, and that you'll have to catch that on the replay, hun. And for anybody else that's catching this on the replay, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do subscribe. We're starting to build our numbers over there. My goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, because YouTube just changed their policy. So I can't... I'm trying to get noticed. Basically, I'm sort of like starting from scratch, and I'm trying to get noticed. So if you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please head over there and subscribe. That'd be great. Maybe watch a video or two, or a couple of seconds of a video. It all adds up for me. And just help me get to those milestones would be really, really great. I'll have to go and have a look for Rebecca and see if she actually has. Does she go by the same name as Scott? Is it Kylie Kefford? If it is, like, can you just give me a yes or a thumbs up or something? So yeah, yeah. So basically, that's pretty much it for today. I've covered the clapper, and I've covered the what's coming up. For those that missed it, we've got a lace zipper pencil, not pencil case, like a zipper pouch. And this is for March. We've got our block of the month as usual, and we have a sewing machine needle organizer, and we have an iron caddy organizer, and a mini quilt as well. So there's some of the things that we've got coming up in the future, and hopefully you'll enjoy all those items that we've got in the pipeline. And when I say where, I'm talking about my daughter, because she's actually decided that she's going to help me in the afternoons. We'll see how long that lasts. Teenagers are very fickle, and I'm starting to learn that teenagers are very much like 2-year-olds. I can't tell the difference between Little M and Miss S at the moment. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to call it a night. We've been on for 45 minutes, and I will catch you all again next week. Have a great day, everybody, and a great evening for the rest of us. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye for now.